Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It has been 2 months since I put any content out on here, and I thought I need to give you a little explanation as to why I've been away for 2 months. Well, there's 2 very good reasons. 2 basically massive new projects that I've taken on. So let me tell you a bit about them. Well, the first one took me blindsided. I saw this post on LinkedIn. I'll put it on screen now, from a guy called Nino, and he was the owner of a big American website called The Whisky Wash. The Whisky Wash gets 2 to 3 million visitors a year. It's one of the original OG like whiskey news, reviews, stories, comments, article websites out there. And basically he was saying, look, I can't afford to carry on running the site. There's been a lot of changes to the way that SEO and traffic works online nowadays. And basically he was saying that he was going to have to pull the plug on the server essentially. And that was like, oh my God, we can't let this happen. I remember about 2 or 3 years ago getting like an article published on the Whisky Wash. I think it's about the Macallan Royal Commemorative Bottlings, or like and it was like, it's a big thing for me. So I'm on the Whisky Wash, you know, like I've always looked up to it as a resource. Now, Nino is basically having to pull the plug on it. You know, it's closing down. You know, the way that the site was being run in terms of it was being paid for with advertisements, and the advertising revenues had fallen massively. So I just basically thought, we cannot let this happen. And anyway, I stepped in and I bought the Whisky Wash. Brilliant, fantastic. I own one of the, in my opinion, one of the best whiskey websites on the internet now, but there's a lot of problems with it. It's taken the user experience, the UX on the front end, or the UI on the front end was slightly outdated. And when you've got to update that across 10,000 pages of content, it becomes a bit of a challenge. So we've been doing that. We've updated the Whisky Wash. I am now the owner of it. We're publishing on there daily. We've got some full-time content writers on there that are putting news, reviews, stories, articles, you name it. It's all going up on there. So make sure that you head to thewhiskeywash.com to go and check out all your latest whiskey news and reviews. And as well as having quite a heavy focus on American whiskies, because that's where 95% of the current readership is, we are trying to readdress the balance and putting lots of Scotch whisky information on there as well. So anyway, I have been updating the Whisky Wash, and one of the other things that we've done on the Whisky Wash is put the Mark Littler shop on there. So we've now got the Whisky Wash shop, which is specifically tailored for those 2 or 3 million people that are going to the Whisky Wash in America, so that all of our clients' bottles are now going to be seen by that audience as well, in a way that is specifically tailored for the US audience. So it's fantastic. But again, that has been a heck of a lot of work for us. Now, we've got big plans for the Whisky Wash. You know, there's a problem in the industry in terms of, you know, Nino hasn't just been the only one. The Whisky Wash hasn't been the only one that's, should we say, suffered as a result of the changing state of the media landscape, if you want to call it that. You know, these websites are not cheap to run. You know, you're putting that content up, somebody's got to be writing it, which means that they've got to be paid. You know, we've got several full-time writers here at Mark Littler Limited, so we can build that into their workloads. You know, the server costs alone are over £500 a month just to keep the servers online. Now, that doesn't all come free of charge. So Nino was previously running it with adverts. We've taken off all of the adverts. We've updated all of the user interface. So when you go back to there, please go back to there. It's a fantastic website with loads of awesome content. You will find like a much nicer viewing and browsing experience. You know, Malt, there was a really good website. I say there was, it still is there, but Malt is just announced that they're going to be ending production and ending putting content up on there. ScotchWhisky.com, of course, closed down a long time ago. It's very difficult to monetize these free content services for people because they're not free. There is a cost. There is a way, you know, the writers, the reviewers, the service, they all need paying. So we brought it under the Mark Littler arm. We're massively independent, and we're going to keep the Whisky Wash massively independent. And because we're not beholden to advertisers and anything, we can talk about a lot of the topics that matter. Now, that was one project that kind of like, here's me going into Christmas and bang, that's the Whisky Wash coming in and just adding a whole load of work to my workload. But another project that I've been working on for about a year now, and not on my own, is a new website basically called Protect Your Cask, and that has gone live today. Now, what is Protect Your Cask? Well, Protect Your Cask has been set up by me and Felipe Schreiberg. He's an independent bottler. He's the owner of Rhythm and Booze Records. He writes for Forbes. He's a really, really great guy, and he shares passionately, like I do, the need for consumer protection about whiskey cask investment. Now, both of us have been baffled over the years as to why this is the case. Why are consumers being able to be hoodwinked so much by investment companies? Because you know what? The Scotch Whisky Association, the trade body that governs the Scotch whisky industry basically, has its own fantastic, brilliant, perfect cask whisky investment advice. But you know what? There is a problem with it. The Scotch Whisky Association advice about cask whisky investment is buried on a blog from 2020, and the advice is linked at the bottom of a page from a single word hyperlink to a PDF that isn't even indexed by Google. So you can't blame the public for not being able to see the Scotch Whisky Association advice. So you know what? Me and Felipe thought, let's just go and amplify this. Let's give this fantastic message from the Scotch Whisky Association, so no one can really argue with it, the attention and spotlight that it deserves. So Protect Your Cask, it's nothing clever. It's an amplification of the Scotch Whisky Association advice, but also in there are a lot of useful articles in there. I think we've got 5 really good useful articles. We've got examples of whiskey cask fraud, so you can kind of see that, look, fraud and whiskey casks has been going on for a very long time, and this isn't anything new. We've got advice for overseas buyers. So if you're buying a cask from overseas, we tell you all of the ins and outs about duty representatives. And a lot of this is it's not just an opinion, it is within the legal frameworks that are governed by the excise notices that basically govern the industry of the purchase and sale of duty suspended goods. Now, we've also got an article about 3 red flags to watch for. So this is probably a bit more of a subjective piece, but again, we're tying on communication that's come from the Advertising Standards Agency, and watch out on the next video for this one, because the Advertising Standards Agency, i.e. a very big regulatory body in the UK, is coming in on, wow, this industry is a mess. You really need to tidy it up. And they pulled out 2 people or 2 companies, but the 99% of those companies were guilty of the exact same things. We've also got a really detailed explanation on Wowger and revenue traders, because you know what, that's a really abused, probably borderline fraudulently abused position. And again, you can go into that document and you can see the exact excise notices which prove that if a company is not notifying the warehouse keeper of the sale, they would appear to be in breach of their Wowger regulations, because there is a note in those Wowger regulations and the excise notice, I think it's 196 and 197, that mentions a need to communicate the details about the sale to the warehouse keeper. Anyway, we'll continue. We've got a really big article on delivery orders and what they are and aren't, because again, that's abused by a lot of these companies. Very briefly speaking, there were laws at one point governing delivery orders. Those have since become obsolete, but essentially, as mentioned in Excise Notice 196 and 197, there still is an obligation to tell the warehouse keeper about the sale, which is what a delivery order does. So there's everything you need to know about delivery orders in there. We've got a really interesting section about casks and fraud, which I'm going to turn into a video for you as well. But that's talking about how a lot of the ways in which these companies operate are easily interpreted as being fraud. And that's why pretty much every cask investment scam that's ever gone down in the past has been shut down by the Serious Fraud Office. And then finally, we've got a really, oh mate, if you're bored, if you're really bored, go and read this article about the laws governing cask ownership, because we take a deep dive into all the excise notices governing cask ownership and what it means for you, the consumer. But anyway, Protect Your Cask is out there to help protect your cask. And one of the fundamental parts of this is making sure that you take ownership of that cask. And that is one of the main pieces of advice that we amplify from the Scotch Whisky Association. And the main core point being, I'll quote this, before completing the purchase, you should check with the warehouse keeper what documents they require and ensure that the seller can deliver them to you. So basically what the Scotch Whisky Association are saying is take ownership of your cask. So there you go. I've been buying loads of weird, mysterious, fantastic, awesome stuff as well. So expect to see loads of cool videos coming out soon on more whiskey related things, loads of stuff coming out about cask investment. And you know what? I'll see you next Thursday.